It is really wonderful to be back this year. I had so much fun last year, and it is such a privilege for me to be a part of and supporting of the Legal Momentum organization. I am delighted this year to present to you my business partner and, more importantly, my friend, Lynn Utter. Lynn is an amazing woman with an incredible career. She started out in consulting with a newly minted Stanford MBA and an engineering degree from Texas. But Lynn quickly learned that she really loved putting things into action. If you know Lynn, you know she's a doer, and she loves helping teams make things happen. Early in her career, she moves through several very high-impact operational and sales roles at Frito-Lay, and eventually she followed one of her mentors to Coors. Over the next decade, again, she climbed the ladder at Coors in a wide variety of operational and strategic roles, culminating with her position as the Chief Strategy Officer for Coors. But in talking to Lynn, it's amazing to discover that that wasn't her favorite job. Her favorite job was when she was running the entire container operation. And here we learn a lot about Lynn's character. She loved being on the shop floor, talking with the brewery operators about how the canning machines were running and how the bottling machines were running. She's really an amazing listener and a consummate problem solver. So you clearly see in many times her engineering training shine through. But through her very active listening and her engagement of teams there at Coors on the shop floor, she found creative and innovative ways of making breakthroughs in their operations that people didn't think was possible. You know, the more you learn about Lynn, you learn that her leadership philosophy is everyone's contribution matters. And clearly the canning operators and the bottling operators felt this. You see it when she interacts with her teams. She demonstrates the highest level of respect for all people that she works with. Now, Lynn is also a very integrative person. Work, family, community. She's a very passionate person, and she's passionate about all three. She brings an extraordinary commitment and her whole self every day to Knoll, every day to the various charitable organizations that she supports, which include the United Way and many public education institutions, and most importantly, her family, her husband Wade, and her two children, Andrew and Ellie. And we're so pleased that Ellie was able to take the day to be with us here from school. Now today, after a very long career, started in consulting, led to Frito-Lay, then to the brewing company, of course, she's been with Knoll for the last several years. And as president and chief operating officer of Knoll, Lynn is really finally in the perfect job. Throughout her career, her natural leadership style has always been, how can I create a workplace where people can bring their best selves, their whole selves, and their best contributions. Now, for those of you who don't know Knoll, it is a 74-year-old American company headquartered in Pennsylvania that produces branded furniture and textiles with a focus on modern design and innovation. And Knoll's goal with these furnishings and textiles is to create an enabling workplace that helps people like me and you come to work every day and do our best work. That's so Lynn. That's so perfect. She's right at home now, leading Knoll to great and better things all the time. Lynn's achievements are many, and she's clearly deserving of the 2012 Aiming High Award. It is my pleasure to honor my friend and business partner. So please join me in welcoming Lynn to the stage.
Thank you, Diane. And I really thank you, Diane, for those kind words. It's almost a good thing my parents aren't here because I'm not sure they know who she was talking about. But seriously, we at Knoll consider ourselves very fortunate. It is no surprise that some of Knoll's very best products have been developed in partnership with DuPont. And Diane and your team at DuPont, thank you for all you all do to make us shine in the marketplace. Thank you very much. And Diane, with your lovely introduction, you missed a couple of adjectives. I am nothing if not lucky and blessed. And I really believe that in my core, and I realize not everybody, in fact, that's why legal momentum is so important. Not everybody is as lucky and blessed as I have been. Diane, you mentioned my work. I love my work. I mean, I recognize how lucky I am to literally have the option every day. I have a husband who is gainfully employed. I have the choice every morning as to whether or not I have to go to work, and I choose to because I really love working with teams. And as Diane mentioned, Knoll has been an absolute blessing in that I literally have the opportunity not only to really try to work with the Knoll team and help us bring our best every day, but our clients and create workspaces that matter. And it really is an amazing opportunity. And on top of that, I have a family that has been beyond supportive. And for all of those who are here today, family members supporting recipients, you know that many of us, there are long hours, we're away from home and on airplanes, and I could not do it without my husband and my family, and I'm incredibly grateful. I really am blessed to work in communities that I care passionately about. And so working with groups like Legal Momentum, helping those who are underserved, I mean, I really do believe that as corporate leaders, our responsibility extends beyond our offices, and it extends into the communities in which Knoll lives and works, and our people live and work. And so I consider myself incredibly blessed to have work and family and communities where I have a voice, and that's incredibly powerful. So I want to thank today those several different groups of people. First of all, bosses and mentors who have seen more in me than I ever saw in myself, quite frankly. It starts certainly with Rich Fairbank and Al Carey and Leo Kiley and the absolutely amazing Andrew Kogan, who literally inspire me and have seen in me what I could not see in myself. And so I'm grateful to them. I'm grateful to my family, my parents. I'm actually the antithesis of Kathy. I have exactly one aunt and one uncle. I don't know how. I literally talk about diversity. There's real diversity here today. I have one aunt, one uncle, one mom, one dad, one sister. We're a very close-knit family, most of them in Texas and Iowa, and they could not be here today, but they're very much in my thoughts and very much the wind beneath my wings. My husband, who is actually today extending final exams to his students at Villanova. So trust me, his students wish he were here, but and I wish he were here, but he could not be here. Ellie, thank you for being here and taking the day off from school. Our son Andrew as well. I couldn't do it without a family, and I learn more. You know, people tell me, gosh, Lynn, you have teenagers, look out, the next few years are kind of tough. Ellie did tell me this morning that she didn't like my shoes, but whatever. But I swear I learn more from the insights and the perceptions of what of my children than I ever give back to them, so I'm very grateful. And to my friends who are here today, my colleagues from work, to Bob and Jim and Gay and Melinda and Ann, and people who I never expected to see here today, who have known me along my path. And I think that's really important. Everyone's path is different. And I honestly never had, frankly, the guts to aim high. I did the best I could at every step of the way, but I never envisioned myself in a boardroom. And it was actually, I remember very clearly, I was on a transatlantic flight a few years ago, and it was a long flight, and I read an article by Anna Fels, and it was titled, "Do Women Lack Ambition?" And I read it, and I literally burst into tears. And I cried I'm in first class crying most of the way across the ocean. It's a long ocean. But I read that realizing that if in fact ambition is the combination of skills and the desire to leverage those skills and do more in the world and be recognized for that, I looked at myself and had to be honest, yeah, I was ambitious. And it had never been sort of PC in my realm to admit that, and certainly wasn't something I ever talked to an HR director about being ambitious, but I started to realize I had a responsibility to leverage that ambition. And so today, the chance to work with Knoll Associates and our clients, and frankly, all kinds of women, young women, older women, who are trying to succeed in their definition of success. That, I think, is what it's all about. And I'll close in just sharing a story. This past weekend, my daughter Ellie, who's 14, she and I had the chance to visit Philadelphia's outdoor mural exhibits. And for those, I know this is mostly a New York crowd, although there are several Pennsylvanians here, but Philadelphia has this amazing collection of 3,500 outdoor murals that are inspirational and tell stories, and it's just amazing. And she and I spent about 2.5 hours touring these murals, and then we're driving home, and she said, "Gosh, Mom, which was your favorite?" And it was actually, despite all the beauty and the art, it was very easy for me to name one. There's one called Women of Progress. And it's, if you can imagine this beautiful mural, it's about 4 stories on the side of a building in downtown Philadelphia. And it's very flowery and flowering trees and birds, very feminine. But down the center is a beautiful staircase. And this staircase has on each riser women of all different walks of life. And there are women you'd recognize, Eleanor Roosevelt and various performers and philanthropists you would recognize. There were other professions you would recognize, but not the faces. There were housekeepers and Sally the Riveter, and there were nurses and teachers and mothers and farmers and brides and daughters. And it really just spoke to me in terms of, and I want to dedicate this award and just remind us all of how many people have come before us and of the great responsibility we all have. Everyone in this room really has the opportunity to reach out and to be that mentor. I guarantee you have something to share with someone who is trying to figure out what their own success path looks like. And so to all of those who've gone before us, and to those who are doing amazing things on their own. They may never be on a stage like this. They may not be in jobs that are worthy of being on the stage, but their pursuits are so worthy. And they're taking steps that are very difficult for them. But that's where Legal Momentum comes in. And that's what is so important for all of us to keep reaching out and helping them achieve their dreams their way. Thank you.